the truth is painful.
You can't handle the truth!
Welcome to Todd's Truth. Todd wrestles with the truth. My AEW Week in Review. Tonight's episode of AEW was Dynamite. This was both a great episode and a bittersweet episode. With the first match of the night being Jon Moxley defending the IWGP US Championship, which is New Japan Pro Wrestling's title. It's never been defended that I know of on anything but New Japan. So for New Japan Pro Wrestling to allow this to happen is huge. I mean, beyond huge. So this means that they have come together to form some kind of a wrestling alliance like AEW has with Impact Wrestling. And this was unheard of just a few months ago. But this was to be a great match. You have Jon Moxley defending the title against the legend, the absolute legend, Yuji Nagata. I mean, this guy is beyond legendary in Japan. I mean, as you can see, here he is when he got to AEW, making his AEW debut. He's a 4-time champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling and a Hall of Famer. And he taught some of the best wrestlers in Japan. Some of the guys who've held the title there, the world title, the Intercontinental title, the US titles, all these different titles, so many times. It was this guy who taught them in the strong style, which means that they don't really pull a lot of punches. Like some wrestlers, they look like they're hitting, but they're pulling punches. They do not do that. Strong style means that they're going to beat the crap out of you. And this is what this was. This was a match that was just incredible. That it went back and forth. They just were forearming each other. I thought one of their heads was going to eventually pop off. They were doing it so much. And at one point, Yuji Nagata hit Moxley with a forearm. That was so hard, it busted Moxley's cheek open when it hit him. So it wasn't a fake one. It wasn't set. He saw it. He hit him with it. And I guess he hit him with the point of the elbow and just busted Moxley's cheek open. And that's the kind of stuff these guys do. This is strong style. These guys will do this kind of stuff to each other all the time. And they train each other to be strong. They'll hit each other and hit each other. And that's what they do. That's why it's called strong style in Japan. And yeah, this was a great match. And Moxley got the win with his finishing move, which in Japan is called the Death Rider. And it has a different name in the U.S. And people were chanting Death Rider, and people were chanting for it. But yeah, but after the match was over, Moxley held up the belt that he won, but then he put the belt down between them. And then he bowed to Yuji Nagata and then got down on the mat and put his head down and bowed to him. And he bowed back, and then they head bumped. And then they stood up and they both raised each other's hands up. So that was a really cool thing to see. And it was really awesome, like I said, to see the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP title, the US title being defended on a show that wasn't a New Japan show. That was incredible to see. And I hope we see more of this crossover because New Japan has so many amazing wrestlers that I would love to see them coming into AEW and wrestling some of the AEW guys. Because that's, Moxley was there because he's got the title right now. Kenny Omega's wrestled in New Japan. Jericho's wrestled in New Japan. Archer's wrestled in New Japan. And just a little bit of history there. Moxley won the U.S. title from Archer in New Japan Pro Wrestling before they both eventually came to AEW. So that's a little more, little trivia there. So yeah, a lot of these guys have wrestled. The Young Bucks have wrestled there. The Good Brothers have wrestled there. So many guys in AEW have all wrestled in New Japan. It would be so cool to see, some more New Japan guys coming over because, I would love to see more of that. So the next thing of the night was Cody Rhodes coming out and giving a speech, heartfelt part of it, and part of it was, a promo about how he's not going to be the American Nightmare coming up for the pay-per-view, but he's going to be the American Dream, and he's going to be taking on Anthony Ogogo, who's been bad-mouthing the U.S. and, Britain this, Britain that, because he's a British fighter. He was an Olympic bronze medalist, boxer, which means he was just the second loser, and guess he just couldn't make it as a pro, so he went to wrestling. So he's going to be, the American Dream for that fight to take on the British bad guy, I guess. So that was cool, but it was neat to see him kind of well up a little bit when he was talking about his the birth of his daughter, which is coming up, for his first child. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's the whole, America good, British bad. Meh. Not really into it, but no, it was a good promo by Cody. So the next match of the night was the bittersweet part. So it was the Young Bucks taking on SCU for the World Tag Team titles. The Young Bucks are now back to their heel personas like they used to be in New Japan, which is funny since they made this deal with New Japan and stuff. So this, in my opinion, was a great match. But with the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, and I forgot his name now. Sorry, out there just cheating up a storm. I mean, illegal maneuvers, the Good Brothers getting involved, and it came down to smashing Kazarian in the head with a spray can, spraying this. I guess it's supposed to be some kind of cold stuff you spray on, yourself to cool your muscles down after fighting. But sprayed it right in their eyes, that kind of stuff, and the cheating, and this was not a way that you you break up one of the most legendary tag teams in pro wrestling, which is SCU. So with all the cheating, the Young Bucks did get the win. And that means that SCU has to break up. And after they got the win and laughing, and with all the cheating, this was Daniels and Kazarian in the ring afterwards, because they have to break up now, which I still think this was kind of crap. But, if you're going to do this, have it a good fight. Have these two just go at it. And don't have three guys outside who are constantly cheating for the Young Bucks, and then that doesn't do anything but sully the name of SCU that they have to break up with. You've got 5-on-2 cheating like crazy. So yeah, it was a good match. It could have been a truly great match, but with all the cheating, it was not a great match. It was just a good match, and it's sad to see SCU have to break up over something so stupid as this match. So next was an interview with who I'm so happy to see back in wrestling, Christian, and one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And he was doing an interview, and he was talking about how he has an open contract, and he dares any member of Team Taz to sign it so he can face him next week on Dynamite. And then he started to talk about how he's going to be in the Casino Battle Royal, which means the winner of the Casino Battle Royal gets a title shot anytime they want at the world title. So before he could finish saying how he was going to win the Casino Battle Royal, we had Matt Sydal walk up, which they know each other from their days in Impact. Christian said hi to him, and he told Christian that he's not going to be winning that Battle Royal, that Matt Sydal is going to win the Battle Royal. And then he said, oh, and surprised that you won't be facing a member of Team Taz next week because I signed the open contract for next week. So I don't know why Matt Sydal wants to get in Christian's face, other than to get beat, because there's no way Sydal is going to beat Christian. Just not going to happen. So that was interesting to see. But so next week on AEW Dynamite, we're going to have Christian and against Matt Sydal. And Christian's probably going to kick his butt. So the next match of the night was the Eliminator match for the AEW World Championship. So Orange Cassidy is ranked number 1. Pac is number 2. So this is a match. Whoever wins this match was going to go on to face Kenny Omega at the next pay-per-view. So this started off like we would expect it to. 2 amazing athletes and wrestlers going at it. And then about 10 minutes into the 20-minute match, an accident happened. I think it was when Pac went to do a kick to the face, high kick. I don't know what happened. Orange Cassidy got it planted. Orange Cassidy right on the jaw, right here. And I think it knocked him out because he went down. Pac didn't realize he was, actually unconscious. So he grabbed him and got him with something else. I can't remember the move he got him with. And then when Pac did that move, he realized that something was wrong. So he signaled the referee that something was wrong. And on the fly, they had to change the whole match because what it came out later was that it was supposed to come out to a 20-minute draw so that it would be Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy and Pac at the pay-per-view. So, a little break in the story, what was going to happen was, so they had to change it on the fly. And it was crazy. Don Callis came out acting like he was distracting the referee. Kenny Omega came out, clocked Pac in the back of the head with the championship belt. He jumped out of the ring and stayed outside going, "Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, how did that happen in the ring?" And the referee, of course, being blind as bad that the referees are, she turned around. Both men are out on the ground, so she counted 10 count. Kenny Omega started jumping up and down like, "Yay! I don't have to face anybody at the next pay-per-view." But what the plan was, it continued was because since both men were counted out, it was a double count out. So it will be Kenny Omega faces Orange Cassidy and Pac at the pay-per-view. So these 3 in a ring together is going to be freaking amazing. I mean, you're probably not going to see a match of this speed and quality ever. I mean, because they're just these three together are just that good. So it's going to be amazing to see. So next was an interview with Hangman Page, and he was with the Dark Order, and he was being asked about how he felt about losing to Brian Cage. And he said, well, technically I didn't lose to Brian Cage. I lost to 3.5 men, as he was calling Taz's son Hook half a man, and a shot to the back of the head with the other his championship belt, Cage's, and then he got power bombed on the stage. And he said, which felt like it nearly blew out my lungs. And he said, so technically I lost to all of that. I didn't lose to Brian Cage. So he said, let's make this fair. You leave your boys behind in the back. I'll leave mine in the back, and it'll just be me and you in the ring. And let's see who actually can win this match. So that's going to be another awesome match for the pay-per-view coming up, because I want to see that rematch, because that being his first loss out of, I can't even remember how many wins he had. I think it was 20 or something. It was high. So that's going to be another great match to have that rematch. And then came the time for the coronation of the Pinnacle after the Blood and Guts match. So all of the Pinnacle members come out. They're all like congratulating each other, saying how great they are, blowing smoke. Tully Blanchard gave them all Rolexes. And they were celebrating. And then MJF got the mic and he said that he was not going to give the Inner Circle a rematch. They won. Too bad. Suck it. And so then you hear honking, and then you hear it, and you hear it's getting louder and louder as it's getting closer. And then finally they're all looking around and like, where's that honking coming from? And it's the Inner Circle driving this little truck with this big trailer on the back. And Jericho pops out of the trailer and says that, give us a rematch. And Jericho goes, give us a rematch now. We want a rematch. And MJF goes, no, we won. No. And so Sammy Guevara, as you can see here in the picture, grabbed this nozzle thing. It was pointed down. He pointed it up. He switched it on, and it started spraying what they said was champagne. And he sprayed it all over the Pinnacle members, hitting all of them in the face, hitting them all. They're slipping and falling all over the ring, outside the ring. Couple times, couple of members tried to go for the inner circle. Sammy Guevara sprayed it right in the face. They fell down, slipping and sliding. And then they sprayed MJF right in the face, which pissed him off. And so MJF said, all right, you've got your rematch, but it's going to be a stadium stampede match, like the Inner Circle lost last year to the Elite. But with the exception that if the Pinnacle wins, the Inner Circle has to break up forever. They can never be a team again. So that's where it ended with them having to think about it. But they're going to do it because it's going to be on the next pay-per-view. It's going to be another great stadium stampede match I'll put money on. And I'll put money on that the Inner Circle wins at this time because they're not going to break the Inner Circle up and they're not going to break the Pinnacle up. They're two great teams that are really well matched. So then we had a match with Thunder Rosa, basically a squash match here. So I don't know why they bother, to do squash matches. So she took on Jasmine Allure and squashed her in about, a few minutes. So on a pay-per-view quality Dynamite like this, can't we have Thunder Rosa taking on some other member of the upper echelon of the women's talent here? Because you've got so many girls. And then there was a lame interview again with Britt Baker about how she's going to win the women's championship when she's never actually beat anybody. It's been all squash matches. So I would love to have seen Ty Conte or somebody come out and face Thunder Rosa. Let's have some of these top tier women get into it. Let's see them kick each other's butts. Let's see somebody earn a title shot at Shida. Not just Britt Baker facing nobody but, jobbers. And then getting a title shot for not actually beating anybody of any substance. So it was okay. It was a typical Thunder Rosa match. She won with a submission hold. So yeah, it was okay. It was a good match. But this was the match of the night, and it was the featured match of the night. And I don't like so TNT champion Darby Allin with Sting in his corner versus Miro. I have made my feelings very clear on Darby Allin. I don't like him. I don't think he's a good champion. I think they pushed this guy too much, and he's not worth the push. And I love Miro. I'm excited. I was so excited when he came. Because we were all hoping that how WWE just totally screwed his character up and what he could be, the monster that he could be or should be, that AEW was going to do it right. And so far it was funny when he first came in, he was a goofy character, just playing off things. And then he slowly started building up the anger and the rage, which was a perfect way to do it. Now he's a beast. He's a monster. And for this match, I was rooting all the way for Miro to take the title because put that belt around Miro's waist and let's see who's man enough to take it off of him. But he just destroyed Darby Allin. Darby Allin had a couple of good, attempted comeback, but he's not a big person. Miro is. Some of his attacks just, bounced off Miro like, you were throwing a rubber ball at him. But there was a couple, he got on his back at one time and had a sleeper hold on him, which was pretty good until Miro, ran full speed at a wall, turned around and slammed Darby Allin against the wall full speed with his huge body, just pancaking Darby Allin. And then from then he just picked Darby Allin up and was chucking him around the ring less than that rubber ball I mentioned before. He was throwing him and ragdolling him around like nothing. And at one point, he knew he couldn't beat Miro, so he gave a fist bump to Sting, and Sting gave it back. And because they knew that Miro was going to crush him, and Miro did. Miro got the win, which I cheered because, like I said, I was rooting for Miro the whole time. So Miro's our new TNT champion. And this makes me so happy to see him doing what he should have been doing before in WWE that they screwed up, is to be just that beast, that monster that, come on, anybody who wants to step in the ring, let's see what you got. And here's a picture of him as the new champion, which I love this picture. I think it's awesome. So at the end, while he is celebrating his big win, which this got me all excited and happy because this is going to be awesome. Another big monster, the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, walks out onto the stage, stands there and just stares at him. And Miro was celebrating. Miro turned around and locked eyes with him. And he just got this big grin on his face and he held the TNT title up going, right here, come on. Let's do this. So I can't wait to see these two big monsters just go at it. That alone is going to be like worth everything right now to see Miro and Lance Archer just beat the crap out of each other for this title. So I can't wait to see how long this is going to take to build up, or maybe they're going to have it go for a little while, of them just facing off against each other and beating up at each other. But yeah, this is going to be awesome. And a lot of stuff was set up in this thing talking about the end of the month for the next pay-per-view. So yeah, they're setting it up really well. And next week, Dynamite is going to have some excellent matches in it too. And we're going to see the first appearance of the new champion. So hopefully he'll be defending the title there. And I really hope, the person who wants to get in the ring with him next week is ready to get killed, because he's going to destroy them. So, yeah, overall, this was a great episode. I will give it, I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5. Just a few things, kept it from being a 5 out of 5 match. This Miro winning the championship for me pretty much could have pushed it to 5 by itself. But, there were a few things that just didn't, bring it up to where it should have been. But which is good and bad at the same time. So, but overall, yeah, it was a really good, bordering on great episode with our new TNT champion right there. Well, if you like this review of my AEW weekend review, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review, which will be AEW Dark Elevation.